Welcome to Swan Books. How may I help you? Okay. Yes, we do have that order here, actually. Quite an order it is. Yeah. Definitely certain themes running through this order, I suppose you could say. Okay, well. Okay, I'll show you the books one by one. And if they're to your liking, if they satisfy all the criteria that you have when purchasing new books to read yourself, then I will help you check them out and pay for them. Okay, great. Now the first book in your order is this one here, Real Sophistication by Tony Hoagland. It has a lovely blue spine. I don't know if you've noticed that. And this is one of the finest books that we stock about poetry, essays on writing poetry from, of course, a renowned American poet. No longer with us, sadly, quite recently deceased. And this book really covers so many facets of poetry and craft, but let's just marvel for a moment at the cover here. So, an image of Shiva riding on top of a parrot. A green cover, but a blue spine. So, yes, let's have a look at it, shall we? Alright, here we have it. A wonderful book of essays by Tony Hoagland. Let's have a look inside, shall we? I mentioned of his other collections. He uses, of course, many different poems by notable poets and people that he admires particularly. It's a very nice mix of very established poets such as Sharon Olds and William Carlos Williams, and then people whose main body of work has been published on the internet, so a nice mix there of high and low. Talks about all kinds of different poetic devices. There are a couple of notes in the margins here because this is a second-hand copy, but the price reflects it. And they squeak. So some of these you will definitely have heard of before. Good balance. Different types of poets. Different types of people who've written poems. Even Raymond Chandler gets a little mention here. On dialectical use of tone, really complementary to the more foundational texts on poetry. If you're interested in reading poems, if you're interested to be able to talk about this book to others, and firstly maybe you have a reason to buy this book. That's a poem there by William Carlos Williams. As you can see, excellent quality copy of this book. Alright. And of course, the lovely blue spine. That's what it's all about. Okay. I actually have some other books by Tony Hoagland that you may or may not be interested in. Here they are. This is perhaps his finest collection of poems. It's called What Narcissism Means to Me, which is a fantastic title, and the rest of the book does not disappoint. Would you be interested in this book? Would you like to peruse it, seeing as you have an interest, I presume, in Tony Hoagland? No, not today? Okay. Well, that's fine. I suppose it is a very brightly hued book. I'm just going to put that over here. Okay, so real sophistication then. That's going in the yes pile. Excellent. The next on your order is this novel by Harriet Page, Man with a Seagull on His Head. A lovely blue spine, you may or may not have noticed when you picked it out. And this is by a publisher who's even called Blue Moose. So isn't that interesting? Even the publisher's logo is blue. This is a first edition paperback, I want to say. Not a prolific author, but very good nevertheless. Shall we have a look at it? Excellent. Here we are. A close-up of the cover. It's very simple. It's not unusual for a first-time author to arrive on the scene with something quite bold. But if you realize, a lot of female authors, their first books tend to have quite sentimentalized illustrated covers. This is unfortunately just a less progressive aspect of book selling. Even things which are not romances are sometimes falsely marketed as such. But this is a very, very sparse, very simple, elegant cover. It tells the story of an outsider artist, and it has been called an outsider novel in its own right. It's a very straightforward layout. There's no fluff. The chapters don't have cute names. They're just simply numbered. You won't be surprised to hear that Kazuo Ishiguro is a main influence of Harriet Page, somebody she credits. Has definitely influenced a very disciplined, restrained literary style. And apart from that, I think you will notice that the sentences are very finely crafted if you do end up reading them. Okay. That's that. No, that's not a speck of dirt, that's actually a very tiny bird. It's a seagull, but yes, it's almost too small as to be ineffective as a design element. But no matter. The next book on your order is The Foghorn's Lament by Dr. Jennifer Lucy Allen. Now, really wonderful blue cover again. Funny that. Funny coincidence. This has waves crashing over it to indicate the coastal theme of this study about the disappearing music of the coast, or foghorns in particular. Really fascinating, and a beautiful hardback by White Rabbit Books. Shall we have a look inside? Oh no? Not quite what you were looking for, is it? Okay. Well, no matter. Appreciate your honesty in that regard. The next book on your order in that case is this hefty volume here, the Federalist Papers. Yes, very popular since the Hamilton musical has a fixed home here in London. This edition, in case you care to know, is edited by Terence Ball, so it is of course part of the Cambridge University Press series of history of political thought. We have some others that may also capture your interest up there, see, all with a matching theme of covers, you might notice. Well, shall we have a look inside this book? Excellent. So in this book, Alexander Hamilton joins forces with James Madison and John Jay to write a series of essays defending the new United States Constitution. The plan was to write a total of 25 essays, the work divided evenly among the three men. However, in the end, they wrote 85 essays in the span of 6 months. John Jay got sick after writing 5. James Madison wrote 29, apparently. And Hamilton wrote the other 51 essays. He truly wrote like he was running out of time. The next book on your order is this lovely copy of Barbara Hepworth, the sculptor from St. Ives. And this book of conversations and writings was published by Tate on the occasion of its opening a new museum for art in St. Ives, Cornwall. Of course, the place where Barbara did most of her work. Beautiful Barbara. What is it exactly that drove you to purchase this book? Is it an interest in the relationship between matter and space in the work of Barbara Hepworth? Would you say? Just female sculptors, British sculptors. Yes, or perhaps it was the color scheme. No? Okay. Well, let's have a look inside, shall we? Now, here we see some of her handwriting. Picture of Barbara in the 1950s. This will be in her studio garden in St. Ives. The book details her life during the war in Cornwall, her love of landscape, her attachment to the natural world, and how it fed into her forms. We're very familiar with some of these methods and these modes of thinking in sculpture now, but they were very new and cutting edge at the time. Here are some of her tools, her correspondence. This book also has interviews in it, which is very interesting. And many pictures of her work. in situ here at the Tate Gallery retrospective in 1968. Alright, here we have it. The next book in your order is a very important work of poetry. Philip Larkin's High Windows, published by Faber. A very slim volume, but contains some of the classics. Here we are. Maybe I can read you one of these poems if you're not familiar with Larkin. Although I can't read you the titular poem because it is very full of expletives, as is most of his work. Let's see if he can make trees filthy. The trees are coming into leaf, like something almost being said. The recent buds relax and spread, their greenness is a kind of grief. Is it that they are born again, and we grow old? No, they die too. Their yearly trick of looking new is written down in rings of grain. Yet still the unresting castles thresh in full-grown thickness every May. Last year is dead, they seem to say. Begin afresh, afresh, afresh. Now I can't think of a better poem to start the spring with. And here, High Windows. But also it contains Larkin's perhaps most famous poem, This Be the Verse, about families. I don't want to spoil it for you. Alright, there we have it. Not so interested then in High Windows. Okay, is it the price? Because I can be flexible, but also you can see I paid £2 for this book, second hand, so it's quite a good deal. Oh, you're worried it might get lost on your shelf. Well, yes, poetry does have a tendency to be brief. No, that's fine. I suppose it's not quite thick enough for you in terms of its size on a shelf. Okay, right, well, one of the greatest English poets of the 20th century, but to each his own. Absolutely no taste. I'm sorry, what? Oh no, I didn't say anything. Okay, the penultimate book on your order, no, this is the final book on your order, is Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarczuk. Now this is a Fitzcarraldo edition, so it's in its beautiful royal blue colours, very typical of this publisher, but I suppose you already knew that. And this is a translation by Antonia Lloyd-Jones. If you're happy with the aesthetic of the cover, would you like to have a look inside? Okay, great. Let's do it. Fitzcarraldo editions. Now these people really made some smart moves business-wise. I wish I could say the same for my shop, but well, apparently their offices are in Deptford, so that's one way to save money, I suppose. There's worse parts of London, but there's not many, shall we say. Not like this, not like this Soho rent I paid to keep this shop open. maybe that's why I'm losing so much money. In any event, they realized that there was a real absence of publishers bringing well-loved books into the English language. So they certainly filled that gap. Doing very well. And they really don't spare any effort with layout. Very nicely arranged. Virtually without flaw. I'm someone I like to highlight all the typographical errors and grammatical mistakes, typos, and so forth. You know, when it's quiet days in the shop, but this one virtually spotless. So, yeah, very much a good investment. Well, that concludes your book order. If you're satisfied with all of these volumes, let me ring this up for you. Okay. All right. Would you be interested in any other books from the Cambridge University Press or the Fitzcarraldo editions over there in the world fiction section? No, maybe later, maybe another time. Will this suffice for the space on your shelves? Okay. Well, I'm very happy to help. Right, no, that's fine. You can just tap or insert your card, whichever works. We are here to please. There are not many readers left in this city, so always a privilege to meet one. Okay, now you have a good day. Now you do. No, I will have a good day if you have a good day. Okay. All right, let's both have a good day. Okay. Goodbye. Take care.